We're still only in the first week of Black Ops 6's launch, and there is already the most broken zombie strategy I think I might have ever seen. So I know I've given you guys a couple of strategies to go at on Liberty Falls, but now it's time for Terminus, and oh boy do I have a treat for you. So yesterday as I was streaming, Greg came in my chat and told me about a strategy that he thought would be pretty quick on Terminus. However, he never actually got around to showing it. And so what ended up happening today is KHF actually stumbled across it himself, and that's the strategy I'm going to be showing you guys right now. Now, I'm not sure whether this strategy gets bugged when you save and exit, making it even better, or if it's just dependent on where you stand, but just to be on the safe side, I'd recommend you save and exit like once you get into this spot and you're fully like set up and everything. So in order to initially get into this spot, you have to start the quest for getting the free wonder weapon, because the room you're going to be camping in is literally where you build the wonder weapon. So if you don't know how to get started on building the wonder weapon, I'm going to leave you a link to MrRoflWaffles' Easter egg guide. It will actually be at the very beginning. If you don't want to finish building the wonder weapon, you don't have to. It's just so that you can enter the room. Now, before you even jump into the match, what you're going to want to do is have the GS45 pistol on as your starting loadout. And if you have it at level 31, I recommend putting a Kimbo on it, because this is basically Black Ops 6's equivalent of the Mustang and Sally. I would also recommend putting on a suppressor so that you can get more salvage. As well as this, I'd recommend putting on a safety field upgrade like Ether Shroud or Frenzied Guard if you don't have the level unlock for Ether Shroud. And this is just so you don't get caught off guard. So what I'd recommend is just pack-a-punching as soon as you possibly can, as well as buying PhD and then just basically camping in that room and just upgrading the rarity of your pistol, as well as upgrading the pack-a-punch level. And to be completely honest, I think you should have no problem camping here till like the mid-30s to early 40s. And obviously, as well as upgrading your weapons, you are going to want to get the rest of your perks, so you can just run around the map getting all the ones you might need for yourself. So for example, after prioritizing PhD, because you're going to need it because you're using an explosive weapon, you're going to want to probably prioritize Jug, Speed Cola, Stamina Up, and Quick Revive. Deadshot isn't as necessary, but you can still get it if you would like, and I would have Elemental Pop just to deal with the manglers at the end of the round. Now, you are probably going to want to have a mutation injection just ready for the amalgams in the earlier rounds and in the later rounds, to be fair. And this is because they can be a real pain in the ass to deal with, so when you're in the mutation injection and you become a mangler, you can just destroy them really easily. But I wouldn't start using them like every round until the early to mid 40s, and just be mindful of your salvage. But if you are struggling with salvage, I would just recommend letting them out of the barrier just a little bit more in order to just gain a surplus of salvage. Now let me talk you through the rounds like 40 to probably 100. Now the 40s are going to be a real pain in the ass because you're going to be finishing them in the room in like 20 seconds. But then you've got to deal with the manglers, which will be spawning outside. And what I would recommend is just using your pistols with Napalm Burst, because Napalm Burst is actually the mangler's weakness. And so you'll notice I'm actually kind of shredding them here. And basically you're just looking out for either a chopper gunner or a mutation injection from the manglers. You can also use RCXDs if you don't get a mutation injection or a chopper gunner, but they can be quite finicky in the room, so I just recommend you be careful if you're going to try and use them. But that's honestly pretty much the strategy. So as you can see, if you're struggling to get the round 100 Dark Ops challenge completed, this is probably the best way to go. And you should only really need one mangler injection, all the way up until maybe even 150. Maybe even later. I haven't actually tried that far yet. One last little thing to note is if you do want to do more damage to the manglers at the end of the rounds, I recommend getting the wonder weapon. And this is just because if you use the alt fire mode, which, you know, brings out this kind of circular thing that kind of confuses the zombies will actually take more damage from any weapon. So what I'd be doing is using this kind of confusion ray thing and switching to my Mustang and Sally and it would basically be doing like 23 to 30k damage. I don't really recall the numbers, but either way, it would just decimate them. So I do recommend getting the wonder weapon as your secondary weapon. But if you don't want to, there's no real need. But yeah, that's basically the entire strategy. So if this did help you out and you did enjoy the video, please be sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'm going to be having quite a few other videos coming out over the coming weeks. And I want to hear your thoughts, so comment down below what your favourite or least favourite thing about Black Ops 6 Zombies is. Until then, I hope you all have a great day.